Hey guys, Rochelle here with Amethyst Ascension. If you are new here, welcome. And if you're returning, thank you so much for joining me again. So I wanted to do a hashtag that was started by Imogen over at Sapling Tarot. They had tagged me to do this. And even though I'm not a drinker, I have drank in my past when I was younger. However, I thought it was a fun tag. So, before I do that though, I wanted to show you an update to the bookshelves. My husband went through, I told you that he was going to be putting lights on. So he put lights on that one. And I did end up putting in the second row all of my guidebooks for decks that I don't keep the guidebooks with them. Maybe because they're too big or whatever. The bottom row is all tarot books that I have, and like independent tarot books, study tarot books, along that lines. And then of course the oracle decks on the top. We still got to, I got to clean all the glass. We're going to take all the glass out and we're going to paint that like a chocolate brown in order to go a little bit better with, everything down here. So this is what I've done thus far. Let me get a little bit closer so you can see. This whole one is all oracle decks. All oracle. And then, sorry, let me get over here. All tarot. Some Mod Podge on the bottom that I still haven't taken down yet. Same over here. The majority of that, I think the majority of that is tarot, but some might be oracle as well in the basket wrapped. And that's tarot and tarot. Tarot. I mean, it's so much better now that you can actually see everything, right? Everything is lit. And he even lit that one for me. And I got Sully down here. So I got to be careful that I don't step on my boy. I actually replaced the lights. They've been burnt out for like months. But he asked whether or not I wanted lights over here, and because it is just like not really super pretty, it's just books. I can easily see what books are in there. I told him I don't want lights over there. So that at least looks a little bit better than what it did. But let me get over here. Watch out, puppy. Let me get over here and let me show you right quick. Watch this. Hey Google, turn off Rochelle's bookcases. It turns them all off. He put them on a timer. I'm telling you, it's this house possessed. Hey Google, turn on Rochelle's bookcases. Check that out. And I've got little remotes that he put like little A, B, C, D, like that's A, B, C, and D, little remotes, so that, and that's also part of D, and I believe that one over there is part of A. So I can individually go through and turn them off if I want to, or even dim them because they're all on dimmer switches. So they could be a little bit brighter or a little bit darker. What a guy, I'm telling you. So, all right, let's get to the video, to the hashtag. Okay, so I have all of my decks ready. So, it is 12 or 13. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Looks like 13 different types of drinks and tarot associations. And I don't think I mentioned it, but it is hashtag tarotbartender. So the first one is an old-fashioned. Excuse me. Says your favorite classic tarot deck or riff on a classic. So, I chose... My favorite system is RWS. It's the one that I know the best. But, of like thinking of the classic decks, my favorite is probably like the origins that we know of for sure, which is like the ancient Italian, right? These are the backs, which are so friggin' cool. I love the artwork in this. I love the colors in this one. And I love that it's like origins. You know what I mean? Origins. I also have the Golden Tarot, which is like the Visconti Sforza Tarot. And that one's really cool, but it's so big. I think I can probably get a smaller like version of it. But I love even reading about the book that comes with that one. That's really cool. But yeah, I thought of this one. As far as the classics go, right? But my favorite is RWS, just because that is the one that I know the best. Okay, so the next one is Gin and Tonic, a no-frills, straightforward, to-the-point deck. Let me just say, I've never had an old-fashioned, and I've never had a gin and tonic either. I'm pretty boring when it comes to drinking. But, like Tammy Pie said in hers, which I highly recommend watching, it was so good. I will put hers down below, and I'll also put Imogen's video down below also. But I grew up in the bars. My mom managed a bar when I was growing up and worked in bars. Plus, my sister was a singer, or is a singer, and so we would go to jam sessions and stuff like that. But from the earliest time that I can remember, Mom would take us to the bar and we'd go to dances and jam out on, you know, rock and roll, which is now considered like classic rock. But yeah, I mean, I grew up in the bar scene. So I remember as a teenager, my mom would go out and enjoy the night with her friends, and we would be the designated driver. So when she was done, so that's how we got the car. And she was being responsible by not driving, and her friends were not driving so that they could all have fun. So me and my sister and our friends, we would go and pick them up. So yeah. Okay, so Gin and Tonic, a no-frills, straightforward, to-the-point deck. And what I thought of is like this one, the Keymaster Tarot. Because listen, honestly, I think any deck can get straight to the point if you are in the mood for a straight to the point kind of deck. I think we personify our decks. We give them that energy. So this one, with it being like this, you know, like playing cards and like sharp images, and I love it. I honestly think this is so stunning. And I grew up playing tons of card games like euchre and canasta and go fish and spades and poker and, you know, 5-card draw and just speed. You know, we always had cards. We always played. That was like our pastime with my aunts and uncles. We huge family. My mom is one of several siblings. Like, oh gosh, maybe a total of, with all the marriages, I don't know, maybe like 14 kids, something like that. But anyways, just in the immediate with the same mom and dad, there were 7 of them. And my mom was in the middle. So we were always around our cousins growing up, which I have tons and tons of cousins, you know. So anyways, this is the one I thought of. For straight to the point, no frills, gorgeous. I love the deck. All right. And that was the gin and tonic, of which I've never had before. Spritz, also something I've never had before. A deck to brighten your day. Like I said, I'm boring. And I thought of this, Journey of the Sacred Bee, because, I mean, the artwork in itself just is so bright. You know, it just using it brightens my day. And knowing that these are like bees and the cycle of life for the bees, and it kind of puts things into a bigger perspective, more of a world, more of a like bird's eye view or bee's eye view versus being so like hard-hitting in your face. You know, this is personally what you're going through. No, it gives me like a higher perspective. And also, God, I just love the artwork. It's just so beautiful. And the color, I'm a color person. The collage bit of it, it's all stunning. I love the oracle too. I think the oracle is gorgeous. The only thing I don't like about them, I mean, I even love the gilding, right? But the only thing I don't like about these is they're a bit too big. But you know what? Even that's not too bad. The cardstock is actually really pretty. I don't try doing it the other way because of how big they are. But I can easily do it that way and I get a good shuffle. So even the bags, just stunning. I'm telling you, art brightens my day. Beautiful art. Something that is just so stimulating for the mind, the eyes, the emotions, everything. That's what brightens my day. So something that's beautiful, that I feel is beautiful. Because not everybody sees, you know, beauty the same way, which is perfect. So the next one is a dirty martini. And that is also something I've never had as a martini. A strong and salty deck. So I thought of Tarot of the Sheep because I have done so much. Not even was I looking for it, shadow work, because I feel like this is such an important deck and this is a true communication with the she. I feel like, and also the time that I got this, I was on a huge like fae kick, she kick, you know, really going through that phase. And, you know, the first goddess that I was ever attracted to was Danu, who was the mother of the Tuatha-De-Danann. And I didn't know any of that when she like called out to me, right? And so I got this deck and I read like the poems and I mean, just read through everything. But man, and this is one of the cards. This is, I don't want to say salty, but it really put things into perspective for me. It was a wonderful deck for shadow work, even when I wasn't looking to do shadow work. It like calls you out on your stuff, right? But in such a profound way. It's not like confrontational. It's like healing. But yeah, I would say it's this one. And I tell you, it does feel like direct communication with the she. Yeah. I love this deck so much. I love the poems. I love the inspiration and the communication that created this deck to begin with by Emily Carding. So, yeah. That's another one. So, Pina Colada, a deck for a summer holiday. So, I thought of the Wild Reflections Tarot deck by Y-Spell. This deck, oh my gosh, I love the backs. This is just a wonderful, beautiful, and it feels like a summery deck to me. Feels like a very grounded deck. it's like a, I don't even know how to explain it. The artwork, I mean, this deck reminds me a lot of my light seers. Not necessarily all the images, although I can see some similarities in the images too, but really it's the energy of this deck. It's just, it's amazing. It's beautiful. Even though there is a mess up with a couple of the cards, it doesn't bother me. I know the difference. I mean, I do hope that they are still going to correct that and send out the cards, but I love it anyways. It is a beautiful, beautiful deck, and it makes me feel like bright and sunny and cheerful, and even I like some of the cards, like the Six of Swords. It's like the same character. His hair looks a little bit different, but the same character that's like smiling as the woman is going away. It makes me feel like, you know, I love to see you go kind of thing. Like, get the hell out of here, you know, or what I did, sneaky, made you leave so that you could take the blame and not me kind of thing, you know. It's funny to me. But, yeah, I love this deck. I think it's just... it's just beautiful. It is just beautiful. And even though there are, you know, sites like this, you can tell that she's up in like a snow-capped mountain area. So it's not like super cold. So it's probably just because of the altitude that it looks like that. Not that it is super cold. You know? So it definitely feels summery to me. I was a little bit salty with the way that they did the, you know, came to mass market right away. But honestly, I think if anybody has an opportunity to get it, they should. Especially at 18, 19 bucks for this amazing deck. They should. So I'm not too salty about it. I probably would never back another Wise Spell on Kickstarter, but I would get their mass market. If that means I miss out because they don't go mass market, then it is what it is, I suppose. Okay, so the next one. A deck for a cold winter's night. And this is the hot toddy. Whenever we would get sick, Mom would make us a hot toddy, even when we were kids. You know, with the lemon and the honey and like a whiskey of some sort. I think usually Mom would use like Southern Comfort or something. Or, yeah, I think it was Southern Comfort. So what I thought of was the Cozy Witch Tarot deck. This feels like the perfect deck when it's cold outside and you just want to like wrap up in a blanket and feel comforted. This is that deck. Even the feel of the cards. I mean, it is bigger. But you know what? It still shuffles nicely. I don't think I could do it this way. I really don't. I mean, we can try. Ooh, no, there's no way. My hands are not strong enough to bend that. But also, they're just not long enough. My fingers are pretty short. But that's easy enough, right? But this is such a comforting, just like wise woman deck. It feels like a comforting support group kind of atmosphere. And that's what I think of when I want to feel cozy when it's cold outside. You know what? I hate being hot, but I actually like being cold because then you can snuggle up in front of a fireplace and just totally wrap your whole body in a blanket. And it just is the best feeling ever. It is the best thing. We have on our bed like the heaviest like down comforter. And oh my gosh, every night when we get under those covers, even though it might be hot outside, we keep the air on because yeah, I can't handle it's not just about the heat here, it's the humidity. The humidity is like 98% here in Michigan, you know. So we use the air, but it feels so good to get cozy in that blanket and just cuddle up and have the boys, you know, Sully and Oliver sleep in bed with us every night, steal the covers, their paws kicking me out of bed in the back, and then Oliver coming up and stealing my pillow, and yeah. But you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way. So the next one was Espresso Martini, an energy boosting drink. And you know what? I can think of several of my decks that I feel like really can pump me up after a really good reading and looking at like the artwork, just like the one I just showed, the Wild Reflections, right? And the bee, the sacred bee also. But I thought of this one because the artwork is so like wild and chaotic and full of fire because of the colors. Even the size and the, I think it came edged like this, did it? I can't remember, or I edged it myself. I don't remember, but this has got so much energy going on in every single one of these. I have both versions, but I prefer this version. It's not, the glossy makes the other one more bold, but I think because this is such a bold deck as it is, this one, because of it being matte and the size and it being borderless, it doesn't stick together. It is the perfect little size and it doesn't hurt my eyes. The other one, with it being so bold and glossy, it actually hurts my eyes to use it too much, which I know is strange because I am a color person, but it was just like, wow, in your face, bold and glossy, right? But this feels chaotic, and I'm the kind of person that I love chaotic energy because I'm also the kind of person that loves to organize. I love to really bring order to chaos. Isn't that what divination is bringing some sort of order to what is out in the Akashic records, or the kind of questions that you have that are swirling around in your head. You know, it's bringing like order to chaos. So this one feels like a power boost. And that's the Bonefire Tarot. This is the second edition. And I think it is so friggin' cool. All right. So the next one is Manhattan, another drink I've never had. Most of these I've never had before, and most of them I've never even heard of. Well, some of them I've never heard of. A deck to take your time with, to sip and savor. And again, I have several decks that I feel that way with, because a lot of the decks in my collection are also for learning purposes. But a deck to really just sit and read through when I get not only this beautiful artwork that just is inspiring and makes me think of days gone past, you know, like ancient times and mythology and all that, but you can sit down, drink. I don't necessarily drink coffee. I drink a sugar-free cappuccino and really just read out of the book, and then look back at the images and read out of the book more. It's just so good. It's so good. I love this deck so much. It's got to be my favorite Greek mythology deck now, bar none, just because it also has a beautiful resource, which is the book and the stories, and I don't have to go hunting around for the stories. And yeah, just this is the deck. It's sumptuous and it makes you just want to dig in. It's a whole experience. So That was the Odyssean. I don't think I said that. The Odyssean Tarot. All right, so the next one is a Mojito, which also I've never had before. And this is a palate cleansing deck for when you need a reset. And I have several of those decks as well, but I thought of this one. I love this deck. It's the Dark Mansion Tarot. I actually love that this deck does not come with a guidebook, because when I'm doing self-reflection, I know what the meanings are of the cards, okay? Unless it's like some sort of specialty deck. But I like, especially if I'm doing introspection, which is how I use tarot for myself, or something spiritual. Even when it's something spiritual or a communication with the higher self or another being, I still like to read all of the material for that particular card, because I feel like it's going to give me more insight even beyond what initially I'm thinking. I do my own interpretation first, and then I look at the materials, right? And this one, there is no book. So it's just for a simple reading. And I just adore this artwork. I adore the cardstock. I adore the whole concept of this deck. It is stunning. And it's fun to work with. So even if it was a hard-hitting, which most generally I don't use this deck for hard-hitting stuff, but if I did, it would still work, but it would still work with such fondness, such joy. This is a joy to work with, because and really you don't need a book. Everything, I mean, it's very RWS. You can see all the meanings, really, in these cards. You can. It is just beautiful. I'm just... yeah, I feel I love that. I feel very fortunate to have the collection that I do. Very fortunate. So, that was my palette cleanser. That was my Mojito. I'm telling you, I wished I could drink sometimes, because there is some stuff that I have, like margarita. Strawberry margarita. Oh my goodness gracious, yes. Bring it on. I love fruity drinks. Mom would always get us a Shirley Temple when we would go to the bar with her. Or for jam sessions or whatever. We would always order a Shirley Temple. We would watch them. And we would get the Red Hots. Do you remember the Red Hots that they would have in the big jars? And the big pickles that they would have in the jars back in the day. I don't know what bars are like anymore, because I haven't been to a bar in umpteen years, right? Tons of years. All right. So the next one is Bloody Mary. I do love me a good spicy Bloody Mary with a pickle in it and some olives. And I mean, like, put a whole salad in it for me, right? But the spicier, the better. The hotter, the better. That is so yummy. But I love tomatoes. So, Bloody Mary is a problem-solving deck. And for that, I chose the Madame Lydia Wilhelmina's. I mean, Bloody Mary, right? But believe it or not, this deck is so friggin', even though it is very like dark and macabre and different, right? Curiosity Cabinet deck. It is so good. I love working with it. I love its oddities. I love the artwork. I love absolutely everything about this deck. The first time I seen it, I don't remember whose channel I seen it on. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I started looking for it, right? I started looking for it. And then I found out that it was pretty much sold out. And then I wanted it for like I don't know, a couple of years I was looking for it and waiting for it to, you know, another print run. And you guys know the story. My hubby would watch it every single damn day. Every day for me, he would check it to make sure. Because he got on the newsletter and everything. And that was from the year before when he couldn't get it for me for Christmas. He was going to pay like, I don't know, $400, $500, whatever for it. I said, don't you dare. Don't you dare do that. I'm not that person. The most I will pay for something is maybe $100. That's about the most. I'm going to knock on wood after saying that because I don't like saying never. Because then the universe says, oh yeah, game on, right? But I adore this deck. I've used this so much this year. I've used this so much since I got it. So, yes, this is my problem-solving deck. And the book that the creator sent to me, because it took so long, this was supposed to be a Christmas present, and because it took so long to get to me, because she was ill and in the hospital, she also sent the book, and I love the book. Not just the regular book that comes with it, the other book that she sells on Amazon. It is a gorgeous book. I don't have it down here, I don't think. Oh, I do, but it's over in my other area, so I'm not going to grab that. You guys have seen it. If you haven't, go and look at previous videos. So let's see. The next one is French 75. Another one I've never heard of before. A special occasions deck. And for me, that feels like the Marielle. This feels like a special occasions kind of deck to me. I rarely read with this one. Rarely. I love it though. I like for like certain kinds of just like higher explanation or like big spiritual questions. This deck is phenomenal. The book is awesome. I love that this is Mary White's mashing of the three major, you know, Tarot de Marseille, Rider-Waite-Smith, and Thoth. It's her combination kind of deck with her own spin on it with, you know, other characters. And it's just, it's a profound deck to go exploring in between the imagery and the book itself. It's just awesome. So on a special occasion kind of thing, if I'm doing like higher spiritual kinds of questions, this in combination with the book is phenomenal. And I love it. And the artwork is so cool. I love that it's a double Ouroboros. Maybe there's a term for it. I don't know. But yeah. So that was my French 75, a special occasion deck. The next one is Aviation, a wildcard deck for when you're feeling adventurous. So that is this new deck that I just got. I have not even dug into it yet because of the big practice that I had last month and the kind of, you know, readings I was doing. But she was a badass. During the time of the Roman Empire and the expansion of the Roman Empire, her husband, Boadicea, I'm not even sure how you pronounce her name, but she was the queen of a kingdom, and the Roman Empire, like, came through and killed her son and her husbands and left her and her daughters. And she had come to an agreement with them that she would then become the queen. Well, they didn't do that. They just, like, tried just swallowing up her kingdom as well, and just, you know, never giving her the rule kind of thing. So when they were gone, the army was off fighting another place where they were trying to expand. She had gathered up a group of warriors, an army, and did some damage in Rome. I believe it was Rome. That's where she went. And so she was known as a, like, warrior queen, right? I mean, eventually they got her, but she was badass. So when I wanted to be more adventurous and really in that feminine empowerment kind of thing, and I had just seen this deck, I believe on Mystical Misty's channel. I believe that's the name of hers. I will leave her walkthrough of this deck down below, okay? If I remember, I will leave it. But she was showing it, and I was like, oh, I gotta have that. This is such a cool friggin' deck, right? Female power, baby. Yeah. All about that warrior queen. Powerful female figure. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. So this is when I'm feeling a little bit more adventurous. I'm going to dig into this book and dig into this deck. It's a little off the wall for sure. It definitely is. But you know what? I like that about it too. The artwork is super cool and it's different. You know, it leaves you like, what the hell is that kind of thing, you know? So I'm not super fond of all the border and stuff, but I might end up cutting it down. We'll see. We'll see. I might, what I might do is take some pictures of it and then on my digital planner actually like lay out a spread with no borders on it and see what it looks like. I wish they wouldn't have done like this, how it separates, but you would still get it then in this area if you did get rid of that. So it would still serve the same purpose with having that little bit if you did cut it down all the way through here. And I don't think it would take away too much of the back either, honestly. And it would make it more of a good size in order to work with. Let me see. Because this is quite large, right? Don't look at my nails. It's time to do them again. So, yeah. It's the Bodacia's Tarot of Earthly Delights. And that's the Reader's Companion by Carolyn Kenner with Paula Millett. And it's just really cool. Even like, look at those bags, right? Is that not like off the wall cool? That is an adventure all to itself, man. All right. And by the way, I've never had an Aviation, and I've never heard of an Aviation drink. I am like so uncouth. All right. And the last one is the usual. Okay. Your drink of choice and your most used deck. So it's this one, the Light Seers. This is the one that I turn to when I really want to know. I mean, really, without a doubt in my mind, what the reading is trying to tell me, because I feel like I have bonded so deeply with this deck, and it's just like, it speaks to me on a whole other level. So this is most definitely what, it's like what I would turn to, and not just for comfort, but just for answers in general. And they are delivered in such a beautiful way, right, with this deck. Again, that's me personifying my deck. That's the energy that I get from this. So my usual would either be like, I mean, my drink when I would drink when I was younger is a Long Island iced tea. I loved those so much. The problem is they don't taste like their liquor and they go down really fast, and then you can get pretty drunk pretty fast on those. So I had to really be careful and limit myself, and sometimes I was not so good at that. So the Long Island iced tea also, oh my gosh, if I could drink, probably the one thing that I would want every once in a while is blackberry Merlot wine. Oh my gosh, that wine is so yummy. It's a little bit sweet, dry, it's just delicious. Talk about just a sensory, I know that's not liquor and stuff. It's a wine, but it is so yummy. Gosh, I love a good wine. But I can't, because when I drink it, I just blow up like a friggin' balloon. It's just, there's the sodium amount that's in it. And the other one that I really loved. And I can't drink because of my tendency to get gout. And this never started until in my late 40s did I get gout for the first time. It's not something I suffered with. But it is something genetic, because my grandma, who was like a size 2 the majority of her life, also had to take medication for gout. It's just, and I think other family members. I think my son has had it a few times, and other people in the family too. So I'm just one of those lucky people that gets it. And there are things that can cause it, like, you probably don't want to even know this, right? This is my comfort deck. This is my usual deck. And that's why I don't drink. I wished I could, because I do love the flavors, and I would definitely be drinking a Merlot wine if I could. Hell yeah. So that was, oh, and the other one is a rum and coke. Oh my gosh, rum and cokes were so yummy too, but I can't drink. So that was my version of hashtag Tarot Bartender. Thank you, Imogen, for tagging me in this. As I said, her channel, or their channel, sorry, is Sapling Tarot. And I will put a link down below where you can check out their original video. And I'm also going to put Tammy Pie's video on. It was really, really good. Oh, and there's another lady I watched, Bohemian Rose. I'm going to put hers down below too. She is, or she was, a bartender in New York, and she showed the recipes for these drinks, and then she also added some of her own as well, if I remember right, which was excellent. That was a really fun one to watch too. So I'll put those links down below. Go and check them out. And if you haven't done this, do this. It is fun. This is a fun way for us to just share what we love, right? In a fun way, you know? And every time we pull out a deck, especially if you have a large collection like me, like you've seen in the beginning, a lot of them get neglected, like neglected children, right? So this is a fun way to pull them back out, be re-inspired by them, and possibly use them again, right? So thank you so much for starting this hashtag Imogen, and for tagging me. And thank you for watching, and I am sending you love always.